Or we'll get started in about 30 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kate DeWald, the CEO of Oncue. I'm so happy that you could join us, either if this is your first session or you're returning from yesterday and the day before sessions with Dawn and Eric. This week, we're doing something we've never done before. We're letting you in on a little secret, or a few secrets, that is. We're sharing with you tips on how you can book more moves with your sales team. The same tips we've used to book over 100,000 moves for Oncue customers with Oncue Booking this past year. I really hope you get some good insights from this week's discussion, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us. With that, I'll turn it over to Matt Clooney.
Thanks, Kate. Hi, everyone. So today is day 3, the third part in our 3-part series on going behind the scenes with Oncue Booking. So we started the week with Eric Matthews, who talked about hiring and training. And then yesterday, we spoke with Dawn, who talked a lot about call quality and why it's so important to ensuring a good customer experience. And today we're going to get into converting more leads into sales. And so as a reminder, these sessions are being recorded. We'll send them out afterwards and encourage you to use the Q&A button in the Zoom controls to ask any questions. Do it along as we go along, but we will try and reserve as much time possible at the end for any sort of questions. And so with that, I will turn it over to today's speakers to introduce themselves. So I guess Matt and Mike, if you could introduce yourselves and say how long you've been in Oncue in your role, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. My name is Matt Witzke. I am the head of the booking platform here at Oncue. I've been with Oncue now just about 2 years, but I have been in the industry in terms of sales and customer support for going on probably almost 25 years right now.
Yeah, and I'm Mike Oberle. I also have over 20 years of experience leading high performance customer service teams, sales teams. I'm the manager of the booking team at Oncue, and I've been here for 1 year.
And Matt, a little fun fact about this: Mike and I have worked together before.
Okay. All right. Well, and combined years of experience, you definitely bring a lot in terms of this space. I'm sure you're gonna have some great insights. So before we get started, one of the things, obviously, if you've joined some of these, a bit, but for those, I see a few people who haven't joined the previous ones are just joining for the first time today. Can you just explain a little bit when we say Oncue Booking, what is that?
Yeah, Matt, that's really important. Oncue Booking is this amazing service that we provide our movers. It really is the next logical step after utilizing the Oncue software itself. And what we provide is booking specialists that will answer your inbound calls, call out on your paid leads, as well as then do all the follow-up calls and everything to be able to book those moves for you. I mean, think of it as we become the inside sales team for your business so that you can focus on other aspects of your business to have it grow and succeed.
Got it. Okay, so it's a team of people. I guess maybe talk a little bit about what the primary goals are for this team, and then we can kind of go from there.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the biggest primary goal for our team is to book as many moves as possible for our customers. Mm-hmm. Our moving customers are our lifeblood, and we want to book as many jobs as we possibly can for them. So, we have a closing rate that's nearly 50% of every lead that we touch. Think about that. That's out of every 2 leads, we're closing at least one of them out of that. So we hold our sales team to very high standards. They're very accountable to what they do, and we work with them on those type of goals and quotas on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis.
Got it. Okay. And Mike, as the team manager, so how do your goals relate to the team's goals?
Yeah, well, so very well said, Matt. And Kind of as far as our overall goals, we track very key sales goals for our teams. Conversion rates, right? What are our total moves booked? The revenue generated for our clients. And the team is really competitive, which is a good thing to have in the sales environment. It's really fun to watch them sort of strive to achieve and beat the goals that we put in front of them. That said, I'm really only as successful as an Oncue manager as my team is, for Oncue and for the movers. So that's why these key metrics that we stress upon these guys are constantly reviewed, communicated, and reviewed and improved upon.
Yeah, exactly, Mike. I mean, it's the same thing for me. I am only successful if you and the rest of the team is successful as well. I mean, we hold everybody to very high standards, ourselves included, and we have a very large passion for this business. So we have to work together to be able to make this a successful journey.
Got it. Okay. And so we talked a little bit about this over the previous sessions, but maybe one of you could talk a little bit, what are the characteristics of a good salesperson? How do you know that this person is going to be a star on the team?
Great question. There are many traits, actually. Three of our, I think if we had to go down to three of our key components, confidence, resilience, and persistence is really what it mostly comes down to. By that, I mean confidence. I mean, if you're going to sell, you need to be confident, right? Confidence that your product or service will actually help your customer, confident that you're offering the best solution for them, and confident that you can actually close the deal with this customer when you get them on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but along with confidence, Mike, we have to look at definitely the resilience. Look, sales is not an easy thing to do, and you have to be able to have tough skin. You have to be able to go in and know that you're going to get some no's, and you have to be able to have the resilience to keep trying, keep pursuing, and keep going after it. You have to be able to keep picking up the phone, answering those calls, placing those phone calls, and selling those customers on the service that you're providing.
Very, very true. And then that brings us to that last thing, and you kind of hit on this, Matt, with persistence. Selling is an exercise in overcoming obstacles, right? Like we say, customer objections, ghosting, the no after no, right? Being able to just pick yourself up, get right back in there and keep at it. A salesperson has to be persistent. They have to keep going, keep pushing in order to win the sale, or in our case, booking the job, and then and book the move for that customer.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eric, he definitely touched on this a couple of days ago. These are a lot of the qualities that we look for when we're hiring a person and when we're going through, our training program. Look, our technology is really easy. I mean, it's easy to learn, it's easy to navigate, it's easy to use. What Mike and I are talking about right now is the stuff that's a little bit more intricate and more difficult to do. It's the critical part of it, because it's actually closing and booking the jobs for our movers. And that's why, we're looking for, very certain people in terms of the confidence, the resilience, and the persistence to be able to continue every day to answer those phone calls and make those phone calls to close those deals for our customers.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good segue in terms of like today's topic, which is booking moves like a sales pro. And I'm sure this is why a bunch of people joined here. So maybe one of you could start telling what are some of those best practices in terms of converting a lead to a sale?
Yeah, man, there's a lot, I mean, that you can look at in terms of closing a sale. I think one of them for sure is being able to assume the sale. That's one that's always been used in sales. It still works for us today. You have to go into that call knowing that, look, you're the right opportunity, you're the right one to talk to. You figure that customer is going to go ahead and is going to book with you. You have to assume that. You got to be confident about that and go through and look, you continue to do this over and over, you're going to sound that way when you get to the phones. You're going to sound like you are the right person, and you're going to assume that sale out of the gate and be able to close that deal.
Got it.
Absolutely true. Not going to go to sort of almost as, that assuming the sale is sort of that overarching umbrella. Other that, right, is the way we go about that. So expressing a sense of urgency is a big one, right? Urgency sells. Industry is very timing oriented. Customers have plans. They have leases that are ending. All kinds of different reasons why, time is of the essence. So expressing that urgency, talking about the availability of the move date that they have, but also sort of expressing that in a way of limited availability sometimes, right? For example, the date's open right now, but I want to lock it in for you as soon as we can so we can keep you on schedule. Let's guarantee your move date with a deposit, things like this that really drive home that this is, let's do this right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, after you go through and you're able to assume the sale and you're expressing that urgency, I think the biggest piece at the end is selling the value. What we like to do for Oncue Booking is to make sure that we know everything that we possibly can about our moving customers, because that helps us sell in the very end, because we're selling the value of that mover. So you want to go into the call, whether it's an inbound call or an outbound call, and make that customer feel like they are talking to the right company, the right person that's going to be able to help them with their stressful time of being able to do, their move. So our reps will want to talk about things like, what does the business do? How will we handle your delicate items? And how other customers are happy with us, how we're going to take care of your move in an efficient way that will maximize your efforts with this. It's just not a move to these people. It's a personal experience. It's a difficult experience for them. And we want to make sure that we're sounding like we're the knowledgeable one. We are the one that's selling the value of the current mover with. And so they feel like they're talking to you. They're like, yep, I've made the right decision. I'm going to book that move now.
Got it. And yeah, so I'm sure these are tips that any kind of moving company owner could use in terms of finding ways to close more deals from the leads that come in the door. And I guess that brings me to the next topic, which is around leads themselves, right? And so we work on behalf of hundreds of moving companies, and so we probably have some insight in terms of what leads, what types of leads convert well. Maybe you could share a little bit of the insights there.
Absolutely, huge topic. Leads drive a lot of this. So there's a lot of lead sources available to purchase, and there are some leads that, quite frankly, perform far better than others. It's a key metric we look at. As a matter of fact, when we're analyzing, performance on an account and so forth, Google Guaranteed, Thumbtack, Yelp, these are great lead sources. And if you're not building up a strong Google business profile, I'd recommend that for sure. Our product has an integration with Google because we know that it's a key lead source for our customers. And we also see successful sales from movers who do localized direct mail is a big thing still. There's still something about that analog direct mail, that the physical card that goes out that still really appeals to people.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, direct mail still with many of our movers is extremely critical and important, and they see success from that. But I think one piece that may be overlooked at sometimes is your website. The mover's website is a great source for a potential customer to be able to learn about you, learn about your business, and learn about what you can do for them in terms of their move. We want to talk about this a lot in terms of our team and making sure that we're expressing that, to the potential booking customers. You'll want to, when you look at your website, you're going to want to have some SEO, some search engine optimization to make sure that you show up on those Google searches. You want people to be able to get to your website and have that web traffic into your site. And when they're in that site, one of the big things you want to make sure you do, make sure your page is easy. It's laid out really well. It's easy to follow, to understand. They can find the right things quickly and efficiently for themselves. Like your phone number is very prominent. The last thing I think is one of the most critical and important pieces of your website is make sure that you have a lead web form on there. And we can definitely integrate that with you so that we can handle those leads for you. But having that lead form on your website is critical to gaining additional leads for your business.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I'm sure that's a whole other webinar that we could do around lead sources and what converts best. So that's great that you gave some insights there. So let's just say you're moving, you've got all your leads set up, you've got the right sources, you're investing in the right place, you've got people on the phone, you're ready to book a move, but what is it that's going to get someone on that phone call to book a move with you? How does that all work?
Yeah, I mean, look, when a customer, when they're placing that call, or they've went out to a lead source and we're going to be placing that outbound call, usually the customer has already done some type of due diligence for selecting a mover. They've probably been on some websites. They've looked for some online reviews in certain areas, whether it's Google or Yelp or whatever it may be. They've probably talked to some of their friends, neighbors, relatives to get suggestions or references. So by the time they get to us, they kind of have an idea, but now it's our job to make it very clear that we are the right choice, that they've contacted the right choice, and that they're the last call they're going to need to make, because we're going to be able to satisfy what they need in terms of a very successful and happy move for them.
Well said. Yeah, great point. And that due diligence is a big thing. So, and we kind of get to that point there by sounding confident, like I was talking about earlier, confident on the phone. We want the caller to believe, we kind of have this mantra, we want the caller to believe that we are sitting in the front office of that particular mover. So that sort of drives everything that we do, right? All of our training, all of our, the focus and everything like that, the knowledge we have of that mover, we are sitting there in their front office. We know the business inside and out. We know the crew, the team. We're all very professional. We all believe very deeply in what it is we're doing. We express the professionalism of the company, and the fact that the people that will be showing up at their house, and Matt kind of touched on this, that will take extraordinarily good care of their belongings, right? The movers affiliated with the movers are affiliated with the company. They're not day laborers. They're licensed and insured and all that kind of stuff. Well trained in what they do. And ultimately, a customer understands that they're putting all their personal items in our care. So while the price is always a factor, so is confidence in the company. And that starts with whoever is representing the company on that phone call. Our sales team has a large, to kind of get to this point, our sales team has a large sales reference library of ways to close a customer on the phone as well. And like some of these things that come to mind are, like I was saying, selling the value of the business, the confidence in selling your services. And then again, that whole sounding like we're in your front office. Matt said it well when he said that they've already done their due diligence and everything. So it's our job to make sure that this is the last phone call that they make.
Got it. Okay. Well, maybe you talked a little bit about the team there. Maybe we could just drill in on a little bit about that. This has to be a tough job. So how do you keep the team engaged and motivated, just to achieve kind of the goals that you've set out?
Yes. And I'll grab that one. It's really all about constant communication and feedback is really what it comes down to. We take a lot of time to establish consistent feedback channels with our team. We do weekly one-on-one meetings to continue to develop our sales booking professionals. We go into detail about their current metrics, areas where they excel and where they can improve. Weekly group sales meetings to discuss changes, enhancements, overall team goals. Daily messages to keep everyone appraised of the overall team progress. We even have a channel that tracks daily sales real time, so you can kind of see who the top bookers are, which sparks some very healthy competition. Like I said before, it's kind of nice in the sales environment to have that out in front of everybody as ongoing motivation throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Mike. I mean, the competition is very key and important to the team, and it's a very healthy competition. Many of our team members, when they see who's the top booker of the day, I mean, they're gunning for them. They want to try to catch that or surpass that. I think another area that we keep the booking team engaged, and Dawn went over this yesterday, is definitely our quality assurance. We all listen to calls. It's not just Dawn and her QA team. Mike and I listen to calls as well, and we're looking for patterns and so forth with our team, not only to congratulate them on the great job they're doing, but also look at those opportunities to say, hey, this is something we could have done here to close this deal, or this is something else we could have accomplished on this particular call. So I think listening to calls is extremely important for the entire management team, for the Oncue Booking team. And I think one other last piece that's really critical for the team itself and keeping them engaged is keeping them informed. And this is informed of why we're doing this as a company. I mean, Oncue's here to help our movers, one, be able to focus on some other things inside their business to grow. And then second, make things easier for them. I mean, our software, like I said earlier, is very easy to use and operate. We want to make things super easy for our movers. So we wanted to convey this to our representatives as well, our specialists need to know that this is what they're in this for. They're here to help our moving customers have a great experience, with the Oncue software and with the booking team as well. It's continued ongoing communication with our team to continue down that path of providing exceptional service to our movers. But the last key point is to keep that team engaged. They have to feel the self-worth of why they're doing this. It's not that we're just throwing a quota in front of them or a goal in front of them. It's why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to help our moving customers? Why are we doing this, for Oncue as a company? And they need to feel a part of that. And in addition, know that they're an important part that's actually moving this entire process forward to success.
That's super important to keep people engaged. I think I'm on that channel too, and just see how everyone kind of is rallying around and trying to beat their goals each day, which is fantastic. Maybe if you could just pivot a bit, and maybe if we could share a bit, like what are some of the maybe takeaways, or if let's say a moving company out there was trying to do this on their own, what would they do?
Well, I'll just get started on that. The first place, and this is what Eric and Dawn both covered so brilliantly over the last couple of days, is the hiring plan, staffing, and schedules. It really starts with being able to bring on the right people. Dawn even used a baseball analogy, I think, on yesterday's call. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, you can kind of follow as you follow through the minor leagues, who's coming up, right? Is this going to be a good team or not? And so it really does. It starts with the recruitment, with the onboarding, with the people that you bring in. And making sure they have a lot of the qualities like Matt was talking about. And to do that, you have to understand the hiring landscape, the experience needed to ensure exceptional sales metrics. Don't be afraid to be selective, as Eric outlined during the session the other day. Then you need to know when your busiest days of the month are, so you can staff accordingly, accounting for attrition, schedule gaps, all those kinds of things come into play. At Oncue, what we do is we start with a workforce management system that helps us to identify the best schedules for success and efficiency. We kind of map out the year based on historical data, projected call volume, expected attrition rates, and then work closely with the people ops department to ensure we're bringing the right people at the right time to achieve our goals. Once the team members are hired, they move through the Oncue training program, and then we get them ready for success on the phones.
Speaking of phones, Mike, that's a great segue into what I want to bring up. And this is the data that you can get from your phone system. Now, this is something you're going to have to do, is you're going to have to at least talk to your phone provider to see if you have data available to you. And some of that data you're going to want to know and understand if you have an inside sales team at your place of business, is you're going to want to know, how many calls are you getting in? Daily, weekly, monthly? What times are those coming in? Is there patterns? Is Monday's the busiest day? No, maybe Tuesday is. Friday probably isn't very busy. It depends. You'll want to know how many calls you've missed, because that could be missed opportunities and missed business. You'll have to understand what those abandons are and how do you call those back? Can you call them back to be able to talk to them about booking a move? Understanding your inbound and then how much of your outbound call volume that you have will help you with what Mike just talked about, or your hiring plan or your staffing throughout your weeks, months, and so forth. You need to know some of this data so you can make the best decisions for your business on how you staff and how you move forward with your inside sales team. I can't stress enough the importance of having data to help you make those type of decisions. Now at Oncue, we have an advanced calling platform that allows us to track all of our inbound and outbound call volume, our average length of call, our average speed of answer, our abandoned calls. All of that is rolled in and up into our platform. We're able to see this real time. We're able to see this rolled up into reports from a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. And so Mike and I then can look at this and understand, where are our calls coming in? Where are they going out? Where do we need to staff? Where do we need to adjust? And to make sure that we're maximizing the people that we have with the volume that's coming in and also going out. We even have automated processes in our calling platform for both abandoned calls and follow-up calls. So if a call happens to abandon, that automatically comes back into our calling platform and comes as an outbound call to one of our booking specialists to be able to place that call. So it's never really missed. We do follow up with that. And then speaking of follow-ups, when a representative sets a follow-up, again, this is an automated process. If a representative is deciding that they want to do a follow-up tomorrow at 2 p.m., then that goes back into our calling platform. And then tomorrow at 2 p.m., that call will be presented to that representative so they can place their follow-up call. That takes the manual piece out of it for our representatives so that they can seamlessly worry about one thing, which is booking moves.
Yeah, good point. The thing that I latch onto there too really is, and when we're talking about other businesses, is you don't know what you don't know. So if you are missing those calls, right, what are you doing about it? How are you ensuring that you are still reaching out to those folks? And that's what's great about this platform. To kind of follow up then on that, the consistent coaching and metrics. And this is where Don and Eric come in again, right, with the great help on the data and the feedback with a lot of the reps. Once we hire the right team members, then you got to have a plan for ongoing and consistent coaching. You want to use metrics like their booking conversion, average time on a call, percentage quota, things like this, so you can discuss how they're doing with their goals and metrics. For example, at Oncue, we have weekly one-on-one meetings with each of our booking specialists. We discuss the previous week's metrics, current call pace for the month, how they relate to their individual goals and quota, kind of discuss what they're doing well, discuss the opportunities for improvement, QA call results, all those things like Don touched on yesterday, which then constantly not only keeps everybody engaged, right, like that, but constantly striving for something more, right, to constantly improve and become better and better.
Yeah, I mean, and to kind of piggyback off of that, Mike, we talk about the one-on-one meetings, which I think are extremely critical, because we want to make sure that all of our booking specialists are always in the know of how they're doing, where are the areas that they're excelling, where are the areas that we want to work with them to improve and to do better. And those one-on-ones with the metrics behind them are a critical way to help communicate that with the team. And our booking specialists, they respect that. They want to know how they're doing. They want to understand where they're at in their metrics and how they're doing against the rest of the averages inside of the team itself. I think one other piece that's very important that we do is that here at Oncue, we actually have meetings with our movers, that the movers get a chance to have on a Zoom meeting with some of our representatives, some of our booking specialists and the Oncue management, and we discuss the movers business. We brainstorm on strategy on how to book more jobs. We discuss best practices. We discuss maybe some changes to best practices, maybe some changes to policies, maybe some changes to pricing, whatever it may be. But it's so important that our movers get to know our booking team, because like I said, we want to become and are becoming their inside sales team. And the best way to succeed at that is for both of us to have a lot of great dialogue and communication back and forth, so that, a mover and an owner, they recognize the names, they see the names, they go, oh yeah, I know who Anita is, or I know who Spencer is. And, they know exactly who those people are. So being able to have those one-on-one interactions like that, plus those type of Zoom meetings, is critical to success, because the more we're communicating about the mover's business, the better we're going to be at selling and booking jobs for that particular mover.
Well, that's great. I mean, actually, we're just about at time too, but I'll now see if there's anyone we can maybe take a question or so. But just to wrap up here, so it definitely sounds like having the right staffing, people, schedules in place, really getting into call data, understanding when your busiest times are, and planning accordingly. And lastly, coaching with metrics. So not only kind of being a good coach, but using the data that you have on individual performance to improve over time. So we are just about at time. I'm just going to do a quick look at the Q&A channel to see if there are any questions. I don't see any right away. So let's just see if there's, we have one that we can answer, I think, pretty quickly. Do you find that the homeowners are more responsive in the day or the evening?
That's a great question. Matt, I can kind of go first on this. It's really during, so you kind of think that when everybody's coming home and everything, that's when everything's kind of picking up. It's really not. It's really during the day, early part of the day, early part of the afternoon. I don't know if people are calling from work or what the deal is, but that's when they're carving out that time to, I think, make these plans. And so we do see a sort of a bell curve, if you will. The volume comes in pretty strong, gets a bit stronger in the middle of the afternoon. And then if there is a dip, it kind of comes towards later in the day.
Yeah, agreed, Mike. It is. It's the day, it's the morning, and then especially early afternoons. And if you look at it from the day of the week, we see Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as pretty solid and pretty busy. Thursday is as well. We trail off a little bit sometimes on Fridays and then over the weekend. But Mike is exactly correct, is that it's mornings all the way through to the early afternoon. We see a lot of those inquiries, and even for us on doing outbound calls, we catch a lot of people at those times as well.
That's great. Well, we are at time. I think before we go, if anyone, if one question was, I email, text, and call, but I need to get people to call me back. What is there anything in the, like, if you could give like a 10-second answer, any sort of trick or anything that you found the team works, that works for the team?
Yeah, I mean, it again, like Mike talked about earlier, it's again stressing the urgency, and being able to articulate that. I think it's two things: stressing the urgency and stressing that you are the right person to talk to. You're the one that's going to put their mind at ease and make their move non-stressful, which we all know moving is extremely stressful for the person who's moving. So that's the big stress that that's the big piece that we always tell potential moving customers.
And I think if I could, on that real quick too, it's persistence, right? We want this business. We want your business. We're going to keep coming. We're going to keep coming, right? And we're going to call you and text you and email you and all these things to get you on the phone. So that persistence really, really pays off in the end.
Great. Well, we're at time. I would say, unfortunately, we didn't get to all the questions, but if you have any questions, hello@oncue.co is the email address you can use to send them to. I'd also encourage you, if you're not already an Oncue customer, just book a demo with us. We'd be happy to have someone on the team show you a little bit more behind the scenes of what goes into Oncue Booking and our software in general. And you can just go to our website and set that up. So Mike and Matt, thanks so much for bringing us home and rounding out the webinar series. And I want to thank everyone else who participated, as well as Eric and Dawn for the week. Thank you all. We look forward to doing more webinars on topics like this with you out there, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, everybody.